Howe, would you please state your full name for the record?
Kathleen S. Howe,
And how do you spell your last name?
H-O-W-E.
And Ms. Howe, do you currently work for the DeKalb County School District?
I do.
And what is your position with the district?
I'm Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
And are you here pursuant to a subpoena that was sent to you on behalf of the petitioner?
I am.
And what are your duties as a deputy superintendent?
As Deputy Superintendent, I'm a direct report to the superintendent, and I oversee essentially the academic side of the house. It includes departments including curriculum instruction, research assessment grants, special education, English learners, career technical ed, a variety of other departments, ed media, instructional materials.
And how long have you held that position?
Approximately 18 months, since November 1st, 2011.
And when did you first begin your employment with the DeKalb County School District?
On November 1st, 2011.
And prior to coming to the DeKalb County School District, where did you work?
I worked as an educational consultant as I completed my doctorate work at the University of Kansas.
Now, in your role as the Deputy Superintendent, were you involved in the purchase of textbooks?
Have I been?
Yes.
Yes.
So your role encompassed the purchase of textbooks?
Correct.
And after have you had an opportunity to review the SACS report, special review report that is dated October 17th through 22nd, 2012?
Yes, I have.
And are you aware of the claim made in that report that they could not establish that textbooks were actually purchased and distributed to schools?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And did you ever have occasion to perform some research on the accuracy of that claim?
Yes, I am.
And were you able to determine if textbooks had been purchased and distributed within the DeKalb County School District?
Yes.
And what was your, I'm sorry, you said that you were able to determine that they had.
That is correct.
And how were you able to determine that?
Was able to actually, staff, we got together and we actually prepared information to share through the superintendent with the board that outlined what are the processes that are in place, what were the board agenda items for the request for purchase, as well as the approval, as well as what was submitted to our finance department, as well as tracking down, putting down a sample that illustrates what was delivered to a variety of schools and just captured during the time period in question what exactly was requested, purchased, delivered.
So were you able to follow the process from the purchase to delivery of the books?
Yes.
So were you able to determine that there were schools that received books that had been purchased?
Yes.
Now, were you interviewed by SACS when they conducted their investigation back in October of 2012?
I was.
Did anyone from SACS ask you about textbooks being purchased and distributed within the DeKalb County school system?
No, I was not asked.
Did the DeKalb County School District, does the DeKalb County School District have a textbook coordinator?
Yes.
And was that person in his or her position in October of 2012?
Could you?
Well,
Your Honor.
that was.
Yeah, because I think you're identifying sort of a fictitious person. You haven't identified who
Okay.
is in that position.
Do you know who the textbook coordinator is for the DeKalb County School District?
Yes, currently Dr. Ron Adams serves as the textbook coordinator, and he has served in that capacity for some time.
Do you know if he served in that capacity back in October of 2012?
Yes, he did.
Would the textbook coordinator be responsible for distributing books that were purchased by the school district?
He coordinates that, and he does actually physically deliver some, as well as majority are drop shipped directly to the school buildings. But he works in conjunction with individuals who work in the warehouse. depending on the size of the order, if we're talking about every school, he coordinates a team.
Do you recall who interviewed you from SACS back in October of 2012?
I don't remember them by name. I know the gentleman, I was the same person who interviewed me in October. I was just recently interviewed for our May visit. Can describe him, his role. He's retired, works in, I believe, Duval County, Florida, as retired administrator. And then a female, and I'm blanking out on both of their names.
Okay. Now, Dr. Lowe, I want to direct your attention to what's before you in the, I believe, is there a binder?
There is.
Okay. What's before you is Exhibit 13 in the binder before you. Are you familiar?
Your Honor, this is the declaration of the witness.
Mm-hmm.
If the counsel wants to ask her questions, that's fine, but in terms of just asking if prepared and canned responses are in fact her recollection, I don't think that's appropriate for a direct examination of a witness who's actually physically present in the courtroom.
Well, Your Honor, the reason I wanted to ask this witness about this declaration is because it was part of a document that were submitted, I believe, to the State Board of Education in their consideration of whether they should recommend suspension or not.
Okay.
And also, I was thinking we could quickly go through her testimony by confirming that what she said here is accurate and correct.
Well, the OSA rules allow written direct testimony, so although it's not typically done with the witness on the stand, why don't you just do what you were planning on doing, and we'll see if it gets into objectionable territory. I would prefer you to conduct a traditional direct examination.
Not a problem. Ms. Howe, as part of your duties as the Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, do you track academic achievement of the students in DeKalb County?
Yes.
And in tracking the student achievement in DeKalb County, what has been your opinion as far as how the students are doing compared to other students within the state of Georgia?
So you'd be speaking about progress on the CRCT and the index exam.
Yes, let me ask you a better question. How about that? In regards to the CRCTs, which does that stand for Criterion Reference Competency Test?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that test used for?
It is used for grades 3 through 8 in subject areas to measure students' performance against at this time, the Georgia Performance Standards.
And other than in addition to the CRCTs, do students take other exams to measure their performance?
For state-administered exams, it includes the end-of-course exams, and that's at the high school level for specific content areas.
During the 2011-2012 school year, how did the DeKalb County school students perform on the ELCTs, the end-of-course tests?
So during the spring main administration, during 11-12, the students outperformed the state on 2 subject area, state-mandated EOCTs. And the state pass rate was 74% for geometry, and DeKalb County students posted an 89%. That's a particular example. The remaining 8, I'm sorry, you're talking about CRCT, not intercourse.
I did say I did say EOCTs.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question about that. You said that the DeKalb County students posted an 89% passing rate. Was that for geometry? Is that what you said?
That was for the geometry
Okay.
And algebra. end
And
of
do
course
you know,
exams.
okay, sorry. Do you know by how much they, well, how did they compare with other students within the state?
That was, they exceeded the state's rate by 15%.
And how did the students in DeKalb County do on the other subject areas on the test?
They showed gains in another 5 subject areas and remained constant in 2 of the other subject areas.
Okay. And are the ELCTs also administered during the winter term?
That is correct.
And how did the DeKalb County students do during that term?
We either remained steady or showed gains in 5 of the 10 end of course exams.
Okay. Are you familiar with the annual yearly progress?
Yes.
And what does that term mean?
Well, the AYP, or the annual yearly progress, is the state accountability measure, which is now the CCRPI index. So it's a way to determine if the district or a school building is making progress in the area of academic achievement.
And for DeKalb County, are the students showing that they're making progress on AYP?
What it's yearly? Are you speaking about
Well,
a specific year?
for the 2011-2012 school year.
11-12, without having I can't really speak to it without in front of me.
Okay.
I don't recall what the exact increase
Okay.
for AYP.
And well, you said you don't recall the exact increase, so.
I believe it to be an increase. I don't recall. I'm not comfortable speaking without having the opportunity to review that.
Okay. And are you familiar with the No Child Left Behind Act?
I am.
And pursuant to that act, does the DeKalb County School District have to meet certain criteria?
Yes.
And do you know if the district has been successful in meeting the criteria?
Yes, the district in a variety of schools, I think we have seen progress. We have a general rule of thumb. We're making steady progress, but there are areas in which we need improvement.
Have you ever made presentations before the Board of Education?
Yes.
And during your presentations to the Board of Education, did Dr. Walker ever ask you any questions?
Yes.
And was there anything about the way in which he questioned you that was inappropriate?
Not that I recall.
I'd like to direct your attention to Petitioners Exhibit number 19, and specifically to pages 5 through 10. Well, if you look at the first page of this document, are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
Did you play any role in producing this document?
Yes. Together with staff, yes.
And what role did you play?
I coordinated staff as we pulled together requested information to provide in this annual report. So we put things either in charts or graphs. We looked at the narrative, assisted with providing narrative.
And if you would look at pages 5 through 10, they contain information regarding testing achievements by DeKalb County students. Is this the section that you would have had some personal involvement with?
Yes.
As you look at this document today, specifically pages 5 through 10, can you say whether or not the information contained in this report is accurate?
Yes, it's accurate.
And does the information contained in this report reflect, what does the information contained in this report reflect of how the DeKalb County students were doing in school year 2012?
I'm looking, it's broken down by, for those who can't see it, it's broken down by the subject areas. and you can make comparisons across a 5-year grade span. And so it is overall showing, give me a minute to, this just a quick summary shows generally we're showing increases from year to year in the various subject areas on the CRCT, which of course there are some exceptions at specific grade levels where it may not be an increase.
And is there room for improvement as far as student achievement in DeKalb County?
Certainly, until we reach 100% of all children.
Okay. Jan, I'd like to move for admissions to petitioners exhibit 19, and I'd like to submit the entire report just so that it's complete.
Any objection?
Other than relevancy, Your Honor, to these proceedings, we have no objection.
All right, it's admitted. Exhibit 19 is admitted.
Then just one other question. I don't believe I asked you this before. Did you create some type of report reflecting, confirming that the school had actually purchased and distributed the textbooks?
Together with staff, we prepared a report that we presented to the board members following their hearing at the State Board of Education. And then I believe we submitted that same report, or maybe with some additional information, together with the binder to the following, the February State Board of Education hearing.
Okay. Did you submit that report to SACS?
No, I don't believe that report. Well, the report that was submitted to the board in January was at the request of the board to the superintendent following their hearing. They requested information related to that matter. So it was prepared and we presented to them, I believe, at a called meeting.
Subsequent to the October 2012 interview that you had with SACS, has anyone at SACS asked you about this textbook issue?
So following the October
She's already
special,
answered that.
Yes, okay. Well, I guess I want to know specifically in the May 2013 follow-up review that SACS performed, did they ask her about the textbook issue?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, they did not.
Okay, no further questions.
Cross-examination.
One thing, Your Honor. It's Dr. Howe, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Howe, Russ Willard with the Attorney General's Office. Hope you're doing well today. In terms of Petitioner's Counsel asking you questions about student achievement, to your knowledge, are there any correlations between student achievement and the board governance issues identified in either the early 2012 SACS report or the SACS report that came out in December of 2012?
Did you say, in my opinion, is there a
In your
correlation?
opinion, is there a correlation between a possibly dysfunctional board and what the students of DeKalb County may be performing based on classroom instruction?
Well, I certainly see a connection in my role in student achievement. I'm dependent on board, superintendent, administration, and staff all working together, aligned focus, so that we can move student achievement forward.
All right. What's the correlation between excessive legal expenditures and student achievement in the DeKalb County system?
Well, objection, Your Honor. I think we should lay a foundation for whether this witness can even answer that question. I don't even know if she knows what the legal fees are.
Well, I think it was a legitimate question the way it was asked, but it might be better if you could rephrase it and lay more.
Are you aware of criticism in the grand jury report about the amount of expenditures for legal fees for the DeKalb County school system?
I am aware.
Okay. Are you aware of the criticism in the SACS report of the expenditure of legal fees?
Yes.
Are you aware of the criticism leveled at the members of the board by the State Board of Education at their hearing on the amount of legal fees expended by
Yes.
the local board? Once again, I ask, in your opinion, what is the correlation between excessive legal fee expenditures and student achievement in DeKalb County?
Certainly in my role, I advocate on behalf of the needs to move student achievement forward. And so I bring forward recommendations that often have dollar price attached to them, and those recommendations I see are something that I need in order to make that happen. So when there are a variety of needs across the district, legal fees or others included that compete, it's challenging not to be able to have everything on my wish list met. And so certainly, be it legal fees or other competing interests for limited dollars, it makes for some really tough decisions on what gets funded and what doesn't.
So you would testify that there is actually an inverse correlation. For every dollar spent on legal fees, that's a dollar not available for classroom instruction.
Objection to I don't believe that's what the witness testified to.
She's on cross-examination.
Right, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Howe, was it not your testimony that a dollar spent on another area, including legal fees, is a dollar that was not available to you on your wish list for classroom instruction materials?
That is correct. As I said, there are difficult decisions that have to be made, and I can't really speak to or place a value on I'm not sure I understand the question to see that I'm answering it.
Is it your testimony that a dollar spent on legal fees is a dollar that you do not have available for your wish list of classroom instruction materials?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of the grand jury criticism of the Friends and Family hiring policy of the DeKalb County School Board?
Yes.
Are you aware of the SACS criticism of the Friends and Family hiring practice of the DeKalb County School Board?
Yes.
Are you aware of the State Board's criticism of the lack of a nepotism policy on the old school board with Dr. Walker?
I'm aware of criticism of lack of policy. I wasn't sure that it was attributed to the State Board or to SACS.
But you are aware.
Yes, yes.
Apologize for cutting you off. You are aware of the grand jury criticism and the SACS criticism?
I don't have knowledge of the grand jury. I'm aware that there's criticism that policy didn't exist or wasn't enacted.
Are you aware that there is criticism of the Friends and Family hiring policy in both the grand jury report and the SACS report?
Yes, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not aware of what's in any grand jury
report, but you are familiar with the SACS report,
yes.
The Friends and Family hiring policy. In your opinion, what is the correlation between student achievement and hiring friends and family of school board members rather than necessarily the most qualified individual for a position, whether it be in administration or classroom instruction?
Now, I'm going to object to this line of questioning. He keeps asking the witness for her opinion, but I haven't heard anything to show that she's qualified to make correlations between these things, which to me suggests that there's some kind of study or evidence in which she can base her opinion on.
I think, I overrule the objection. I think you opened the door with a direct examination.
So would you repeat?
I will. In your opinion, what is the correlation between a friends and family hiring policy in the system for relatives and friends and family of school board members rather than necessarily the most qualified individual for an administrative or classroom instruction position? What, in your opinion, is the correlation between that friends and family hiring policy and student achievement?
If any.
Okay. Well, so certainly in my role, it's important for me to hire individuals that have the best skill set and competencies and in order to do the work that's necessary to move student achievement forward. And so, in my opinion, if I'm not able to do that, that's detrimental to my ability to, move student achievement forward or to be held accountable for moving student achievement forward.
Your Honor, if I may take a Thank you, Dr. Howe.
Redirect examination?
Yes. Dr. Howe, sorry for not addressing you as doctor before.
That's okay.
Do you have any personal knowledge of friends or family members of school board, of Dr. Walker being hired by the school board? I'm sorry, being hired by the district administration?
Do I have knowledge of Dr. Walker being hired?
No, but do you have knowledge of any friends or family members being hired by the district administration pursuant to this Friends and Family program?
No, I don't have any direct knowledge.
And what exactly is the Friends and Family program?
I think it's a term
Well, do you
used.
have any personal knowledge of what it is?
I just have knowledge of how it's used both in DeKalb and in a broader context of that what it represents. Or
So how is it used in DeKalb County?
It is used to speak about that employees are hired based on their connections or affiliations or associations, promotions granted versus being the most competent or qualified individual.
And do you have any personal knowledge that this has happened since you have been with the DeKalb County School Board, DeKalb County District since November of 2011?
I don't have direct knowledge, no.
So your knowledge of the Friends and Family program, is it based on rumors that you've heard?
It's based on rumors, and it's based on, I think, relatives exist in the district, so folks are related to, and so, if you know the individuals related to or whatever, it's based on what people say about that.
Has anyone ever asked you to hire someone in the DeKalb County School District who you thought was unqualified?
No.
So other than the rumors, you don't have any other basis for knowing if this policy actually exists?
No, I just have my own personal opinion or observations of hearing what people say.
Now, when you were interviewed by SACS, did they ask you about this policy?
I was asked about the reorganization and about hiring. It wasn't specific or called Friends and Family, but I was asked about the process and hiring during the reorganization.
And was there anything about the process during the reorganization that gave you, caused you concern?
Yes.
And who was responsible for the hiring during that time?
Well, for positions that I'm responsible for within the Division of Curriculum Instruction that report to me, and certainly any of the interview panels that I served on, that I signed off on, I was responsible for that. But there were other hires that took place within the division that reported up to and other folks and other panels. So.
And so who made the ultimate decision about whether an individual was hired?
Well, if it was a director, executive director, or above, I believe the former superintendent had to sign off on that. If it was for positions below that, either I could sign off for them or the appropriate staff, the supervisor, overseeing that hiring process.
So were your concerns related to actions taken by the former superintendent, Cheryl Atkinson?
My concerns were relative to the the process in general, just the timeline, the scope, resources available to carry that out. There were concerns about, we posted and internally, externally, and then made recommendations, and then we had to go through the process again because there were questions about was it posted externally? It was.
So your concerns were about the process and not the friends and family program, is that correct?
Right. My concerns were with the process and with other concerns relative to the former superintendent directives relayed.
And was the former superintendent, Cheryl Atkinson, also responsible for determining what the process was for the hiring during the reorganization?
Yes, together with human resources and some external consultants.
And did you ever have input from Dr. Walker regarding the process that was used for hiring?
No, I did not.
Okay, no additional questions.
Recross.
No, you're off.
All right. You can sit down. You can stay in the courtroom if you will.